Meet me. Welcome back, boys. I know a bunch of you guys are pumped about this new waifu. So today we're going to do a hero preview of Belian. Belian? I don't know. Belian sounds better. I have not seen this video yet. I have not seen her skills. I have seen some guild commentary about it on our Guild Wars. So let's go over this together. So it looks like she is a light knight. Interesting. From beating her, I thought she was going to be some kind of mage. She looks like a mage. I mean, looks a little naked for a knight, but I guess we'll see. Should we watch some of this? This is just a concept art. Very big gal. There we go. That's what we like to see. I never understood that S3 where she's like the size of the universe. I guess she's a god. I don't really read the story. Alright, so let's look at her stats. Solid HP, pretty fast for a knight actually. 110. Uh-oh, she has effectiveness, so she's some kind of debuffing knight. And looks like her imprints are AoE effect resist, self-imprint concentration, is health. Effect resist, interesting. I think, who else has that? Like C Armin or something? The AoE effect resist imprint is gaining some popularity, and since she has no 5-star equivalent, I'm guessing like Strays and Archdemon, you will buy the imprints from the shop. So let's go into the skills. S2 first. Shackles of Suppression decreases the number of souls gained by the enemy by 100%. At the start of the turn has a 70% chance to grant a random buff to the caster. To grant a random buff the caster. What? Is that correct? Am I crazy? I just woke up recently. At the start of the turn has a 70% chance to grant a random buff, should be to the caster for one turn. So that's it, just the caster. And the random buff is increased effectiveness, increased crit chance, or continuous healing. The hell, this random buff seems terrible. Who cares about any of this? Like, who's gonna bank on getting this? Like, you're gonna have 100% crit anyway if she's a DPS, because who's gonna bank on randomly getting one of three? If anything could give her all three of these buffs, it wouldn't be that bad. But now my guild chat makes sense. So, according to my guild chat, this also blocks Tagahels. So, this skill is pretty insane against, like, cleavers and other soul dependent stuff, right? Or like Pavels or something. Or if you see them bring like double mage to stack up on the Tagahels, if you can deny all their souls in the beginning, a lot of cleave setups don't work very well if they're completely soulless. So in practice, is this going to be good enough? I don't know, but it could be very annoying for a lot of teams. And not only does it stop that beginning opener, it also means they can never gain any souls again. So essentially, your team can never be soul burned. Now, I'm assuming this has some kind of. Actually, no, I guess this wouldn't even have an animation. It's just a passive. It doesn't proc anything like a non attack skill. So, okay. Alright, that's pretty self explanatory. Let's go on to the skill 3. This is the one where she becomes like a superhuman god. Apocalypse. Attacks all enemies with the power of duties. That sounds stupid. Decreasing combat readiness by a random amount between 20 and 40% and provokes for one turn. Increase defense of the caster for 2 turns. Damage dealt increases proportional to the max health. That actually doesn't seem good at all. As far as I can tell, yeah, there's no strip here, and I'm assuming it doesn't go through immunity, so she's a decently fast knight, but you're gonna have to turn to her, or maybe even build her slow, because this is just gonna get immunityed. Random amount between 20 and 40%. I mean, why not just be 40%? Even that would, like, what's the point instead of just denying the first turn with like a silence or a stun or something if they don't have immunity anyway, then pushing them back 20 to 40%. It only increases her defense. Like if she ever gets buffed, I feel like the buff will be something like it gives the whole team increased defense. That would make this hero very strong, actually. Increased defense is a super strong buff. But just for the cast, I mean, I guess it makes sense. It gives herself increased defense, and it provokes everyone, so they're forced to attack into her. And damage dealt increases proportional to caster's max health. That's fine. Let's watch the animation. You guys have probably seen it already if you fought Belian in 310. Looks pretty good. Damage seems not too great. I mean, kind of a tanky team. They do have a troublemaker. I'm assuming it's not on Aureus, though, because it's a troublemaker. 3,400 to S10A. And what, did this whole team not have immunity? How did it even land? Yeah, I'm assuming the whole team did not have immunity. And what the heck? Even landed on a maid Chloe. What is this pitiful example here? Alright, well, we get the gist of that. Skill 1, Light of Destruction. Attacks all enemies with a ray with a 50% chance to dispel one buff. When used on the caster's turn, has a 35% chance to activate Incursion as an extra attack. Damage also scales to our max HP here. Incursion attacks all enemies, decreasing speed and hit chance for one turn. Damage dealt increases proportional. So it's a so it's an extra attack. So she can attack twice. Soul burn increases activation by 1. I want to see this in action, then we'll talk about it. So let's see. She attacks with a ray. Okay, and then she procs this thing. That's pretty cool, actually. So it could be a double attack. Alright, so that can only proc on her own turn, though. So if you put her on Elbrus or something, this thing, the Incursion, will never proc. I'm also wondering if you can build her like Dizzy, in the sense that the Hafine artifact, what is it called? I don't even remember, but it stuns on the S1, right? So you have... Wait, no, that's a warrior artifact. Never mind, she can't use that. So you'd have to kind of use her on Elbrus. So what do? Counter set Elbrus, but the only thing you'll get out of a counter is the buff cleanse. There are other heroes that can do that already, like, Dizzy on Violin, or, obviously Rem. If she could proc the Incursion on counters, I think she'd be a lot stronger. But she can't, so all she can really do is cleanse buffs, and this thing doesn't seem to hit too hard. I mean, these examples are hard to tell. I guess it's not terrible, actually. That's because of Troublemaker damage transfers, like 3k on nesting. It's not terrible. But you have to keep in mind, she also has attack buff here. With attack buff, it's hitting an S10A for 3k. Yeah, I don't know. She seems kind of wonky. So I think the main thing about her, the main reason you would want to use her is the S2. Like, as I guess it's yet another anti-cleave unit in a way. I'm trying to think of why you would want this in a Bruiser versus Bruiser matchup, and I'm struggling to see why. Bruiser versus Bruiser, they can deal with having no souls. It's not the biggest thing. This thing is going to do next to nothing against Bruisers. They won't really care about this unless her multis are crazy. And this thing's pretty annoying, actually, but again, I mean, it's kind of like whatever. Dizzy could do this kind of stuff, but better probably on Violin. And, Dizzy's not exactly in the meta right now either. I mean, granted, Belian should do a lot more damage than Dizzy, though. but still, I feel like her kit kind of seems anti-cleavish. Deny all the souls. Like, Cleaves are going to be the kind of teams that care most about having souls, bringing Tagahels, generating souls through things like the Flan artifact, and this is going to shut all of that down. Like, imagine a Cleave where Pavel can't soul burn, Flan can't soul burn S3, S2, Politis can't soul burn the S1s to trigger T-Surns and stuff. That's a pretty big deal to take away the souls. This thing would be very strong against Cleave, although realistically against Cleave, she's never going to get to use it. She has no self CR push or anything. And this thing, I guess, is okay against Cleave. I mean, Cleaves are squishy, so any kind of AoE counter is a pretty big deal. I think it would be a very big deal if she could proc Incursion, because it's the same thing as Archdemon. Like, Archdemon can randomly shut down Cleaves by countering and blinding them. I've won a lot of matches like that, but the thing is she can't proc the Incursion outside of her own turn, so not really. All it's going to do is dispel one buff. Maybe it's good if you dispel an attack buff or something, if you had her on Elbrus. But I don't know. I don't know. Now, I think the main. So, initially, my impression of her is not great, other than that she's a pretty top tier waifu. But who knows what the stats of the Belian in this video are like. Now, it is an AoE counter, right? So, if the multis are pretty solid and you can build her tanky and to do a lot of damage, if she's constantly AoEing back and chunking them for solid damage, this hero might still be pretty good, right? Kind of as like a wear down the team kind of hero. But in the same way, it's not like you can bring SSB into everything. And SSB kind of does the same thing. Like, you hit them, and SSB is probably more reliable too. SSB just constantly bats back and does damage. And the thing is, on her own turn, Belian is kind of a liability because you have a very high chance of proccing on an AoE things like Rem, like you can't not hit Violet. If you're up against SSB, you're going to give her a ton of focus. LR Crow, you're going to keep resetting his S3. So there are risks to all AoE attacks. So anyways, I think that's my impression of Belian so far. I think she's going to be a pretty scary pick for cleavers. I mean, as an anti-cleave unit, not as a cleaver, because they're going to have to weigh dealing with having 0 souls or wasting their ban on her. In a Bruiser versus Bruiser matchup, I'm very hesitant to say that she has a place. Maybe if she does a ton of oppressive damage, possibly, but even then, I don't think it makes sense to bring her over a lot of other knights. Because for that to work, you need to put her on Elbrus, which means she's a knight that doesn't give your team any damage mitigation whatsoever. So it's kind of wonky. So yeah, kind of a weird unit, but hey, it's nice to see that Smilegate is having some interesting ideas. Like, I thought she was going to be broken, to be honest, because everyone was so pumped for her, and they clearly showed that they're willing to unleash broken heroes with Angel of Light and Angelica. But I guess Belian is an exception, so she looks alright, but I'm not blown away by any means. So anyways, what are your own thoughts? Did I miss something? Is there some super Omega interaction with her that's going to be super broken? Well, if you think so, share it in the comment section below. And as always, if I made a mistake because they said something else on the stream or some Discord chat or something, or a YouTube comment, then feel free to share that too. I know a lot of you guys are super on top of that sometimes. Thanks for watching. Till next time, boys, if you decide to pull for her, best of luck. Peace out.